How many of us have them?
So those were some pictures of my closest friends. And as I was kind of looking through those pictures, I really started to realize that I really choose friends to be close to me. I really choose them very kind of meticulously. I guess that's the word I kind of want to use here. I'm very particular as to who I call friend and who I let in my inner circle because of how profound of an impact they have on me and my life. They really do have this ability to kind of transform who I am, for bad or for good. So I've learned over the years that every now and then I pick a friend that's not so great because of the impact and for different reasons. And that taught me how to pick those who I would eventually call friend or family or in my inner circle. I realized then I don't have any yes men or yes women that I put in my inner circle. I don't put anybody in there who just wants me to agree with them all the time. I also don't have people close to me or in my friendship circle who don't have the same mindset as I do. Because a lot of times the mindset indicates how you absorb life and how you handle life and the direction you head in life. And so if we don't have the same mindset, I also am not going to bring you into my inner circle. And that has a lot to do with knowing who God called me to be and the direction I know that I need to head in life. And I feel like if I bring people in my inner circle who aren't headed in the same direction, at least mentally, then they could actually stunt my growth spiritually or stunt my growth in purpose. And so when I look at that, what I'm really realizing, it's a choice for value, right? I choose friends who I would consider to be very valuable to me. And I use that word with a very specific purpose, because what value will do when it comes to relationships and friendships and heartfelt emotions connected to someone else is value will always bring out your best convictions in life. See, value is pulled out of conviction, and it also helps strengthen conviction. Because my friends and I, as it relates to conviction, we don't always agree. There are definitely times where we disagree. But the reason why I chose this person to be my friend or chose to be the inner circle is because there's a greater value that simply says what's got to be greater than our disagreement is our ability to have this personal engagement with each other that makes us better. So what in actuality, what happens is those moments we disagree, what actually happens is our commitment to each other, our conviction for better overrules the disagreement. And what happens is even in disagreement, we still both come out better. Because the disagreement was just two edges rubbing together saying, we got to make each other better. It's never saying that I'm going to overpower you, you're going to be better, or you're going to overpower me. It's instead that kind of carving together that says the issue that caused the disagreement is not the topic, so to speak. It's something within us that we've got to carve out so that as we rub together in disagreement, when actuality happens, is we come out better. When we finally come to an agreement, we come out better. That reminds me of a verse that Solomon writes in Proverbs. Proverbs is a book of wisdom. And in Proverbs chapter 27, verse 17, again, very familiar passage, Solomon writes, "Iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend." Iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. I think in the English Standard Version, it reads a little bit different, but when you go back to the etymological meaning, it means the same. But in the English Standard Version, iron sharpens iron, and one man sharpens another. So a man changes or sharpens the countenance of another. And I like the way Solomon puts this, because we're first and foremost talking about the value of choosing. See, I wonder if some of your closest relationships, which you chose to be a part of, are they making you better even when that person is not with you? Are you really truly a better person outside of their presence? The relationships that you've chosen, have they elevated you in areas where that relationship isn't really impactful? Have they given you promotion on your job? If that close relationship isn't on your job, have they made you better in your marriage if you're not married? If you've got a best friend or a very close friend who you're not married to, do they make you better in your marriage? Do they make you better as a parent? You see, that's got to be the value of every relationship, that it is so valuable that even when you are not with that person still makes you better. And you see what Solomon does as it relates to value is he uses the word iron, barzel in the Hebrew, right? And iron speaks to value because of its strength, because of how strong it is, right? Iron was one of the most strongest metals in biblical times. And so what Solomon's really saying is, did you choose relationships that are strong enough to withstand everything that you are and not lose their value? Have you chosen relationships that are strong enough to deal with your idiosyncratic nature, your nuances, your habits, your bad habits, your good habits? Because see, you are not easy to get along with. You see, if that statement I just made didn't bring some reality to you, then you're definitely not easy to get along with. And because you're not easy to get along with, you have to choose relationships of value, relationships that are strong enough to take who you are, they not lose any of their value within themselves, and make you better. You see, at the core of a great relationship is its value, because then it's able to do what Solomon says, and that's sharpen. Hada in the Hebrew, sharpen. And what it means is to be keen. See, if your relationship is built on who they physically are, or financially who they are, or what you can get out of them, you are not choosing great relationships. Great relationships sharpen you, because that word sharpen, hada, actually means keen, and that's an intellectual thing. That's not it's not an external thing. That's an internal thing, because it is intellectual. Do the relationships you're choosing, do they have this mental connection with you that is so strong that they are intellectually alert when you're not yourself? That they're intellectually alert when you're heading into a situation that's going to harm you, not help you. That they're that they're so sensitive perceptually, that they can understand that because of who you are, a choice you're about to make is not the best choice. A decision you're going to is not the best decision. See, they've got to be strong enough iron that they can sharpen you, because they're keen, they're intellectually astute, they're sensitive in their perception of you, that they can come in and say, listen, you're not making the best decision, and I'm not walking away from you. Listen, this has got to change about you, and I'm not giving up on you. So when he says iron sharpens iron, and a man is able to sharpen the countenance of a man, in other words, the value in my relationship with you is strong enough to withstand the issues that I bring to the table, and vice versa. I'm strong enough to withstand the issues in what you're bringing to the table. So are you valuable in the relationship that we can change the countenance? Oh, I love that word, countenance. You see, countenance, parem in the Hebrew, it means presence. See, that should have been a shouting point right there. Because what I'm realizing is that God has put people in my life who've been strong enough to help me become a better me. And I've been strong enough to help them become a better them. That even when I'm not with them, people surrounding them all of a sudden say, you seem different. There's something different about you. And it's not a bad, it's a good. There's something stronger about you. There's something powerful about you, something better about you. You see, when you can change the presence of somebody and they can change the presence of you, even when you're not with them, doors just start opening up for you. Opportunities open up for you that you weren't ready for, because no iron was sharpening you. Nobody was in your life that brought value, that made you better. It didn't mean that you were better than them. Actually, it meant they were just as good, if not better than you, but then challenged you to be better. That's how you you. That's how iron sharpens iron, and a man sharpens the countenance of another, because I'm able to, watch this, have a relationship with you that says, I'm not leaving you. A relationship that says with you, I know others have walked out, but I see greater in you. See, those are the type of relationships you got to connect with. Those are the type of people that God is wanting to put in your life, not ones that remind you of what you think about yourself, that remind you of what God thinks about you. And see, Solomon says those are the type of ones that change the countenance of his friend. Rhea in the Hebrew. God will send some Rhea people to you, some personal interactions with you. See, here's where you got to shout right here, because God does not want you to see a friend as just someone that's another being and you connect as two people. No, God is sending you some Rheas in life that give you a personal interaction with yourself. Hallelujah, right there. I thank God for my best friend. I thank God for people that God has said, put them in your inner circle, because there's going to be this mirror. And it's not a mirror that tells you why you look bad. No, it's this mirror that says, I need you to see yourself, but I'm holding the mirror because I need to tell you what I see in you. I need to tell you that this doesn't have to be what you look like. A Rhea will stand up and say, listen, you're better than this. You're going to go further than this, but you gotta tweak some things about yourself. And then watch this, a Rhea will say, now you hold the mirror and tell me about me. That's what God wants when he sends you a friend. That's what God means when he speaks through Solomon and says, iron sharpens iron, for a man can sharpen the countenance of another man. God is simply saying, did you choose the right people in your life? If you did, thank God that he sent you iron. Thank God that he sent you someone that's changing you and allowing you to be better. Thank God, I feel like shouting right here, that God sent you someone that can change your presence. That's why you gotta choose your friends right. And that's why friends are today's fresh thought.